Well, you have a fun movie to talk about.
It is a fun movie to talk about.
That makes a big difference.
Absolutely, and you get to do it with
And
fun
a fun
people.
yes, a fun movie partner.
Room partner, that makes a big difference.
And what they don't understand, what they fear, and what they fear, we seek to destroy.
Are you threatening me?
That's right.
That would be a bad idea. They're right to fear me.
I am very curious about what is the best part about being able to return to a character every couple of years and continue to develop them and workshop them and evolve them along?
I think sometimes, like, you make a film and it's just a standalone film, you put so much of yourself into it and then it's done. And you just walk away, and there's a virtue in that. That's great, because you get to just move on with your life and do something different. But sometimes you think back and you go, God, that was part of me that went into that. So with Charles, and I guess with ERIK as well, you put a lot of yourself into it, but we get to come back a little bit and we get to reconnect and make something that lasts a little longer than just that 3 months that it usually does, or 2 months when you're making a movie, you know?
The great thing is, as well, between each of these movies is 10 years' time. They jump in for 10 years, so every time you have to kind of go back and be like, what have they been up to? What developments have been made in their lives? And that's something that I just love, kind of fleshing out a storyline.
The most exciting part is, exactly what you're saying. You get to keep, developing that character and explore it further, and I think, you probably get that a lot in TV shows or a series.
I think also in terms of just shooting these films, it's a technical masterpiece that I'm not even smart enough to figure out how to do a little bit of it.
I don't get it.
So it's just kind of amazing to watch them do that and be a part of that. And so coming back, you sort of have a little bit better idea of what you're in for, which allows a little more freedom to be creative and explore different sides of the character.
It's more of an in-depth study, and that's what it's allowed us to do over 4 films, rather than to just come in, as James said, do a standalone piece. It's also nice to come back and work with the group that we have. It's a fantastic bunch of people.
Even that, like, within the family of the filmmakers as well, watching different evolutions happen there, like watching Simon step into the director's chair and watching Sophie step up and lead the movie.
And watch Jennifer.
Watching, oh my God, become the biggest movie star in the world.
That's right, yeah.
From an 18-year-old who was like in a film that had done all right and all that kind of stuff to the biggest movie star ever.
Does that change the dynamic on set at all, or had it ever?
No, no, actually. But we help, I think we all help facilitate those evolutions and support those things.
If you embrace it, you will possess the very power of a god.
I thoroughly enjoyed them getting to be a team.
Thank you very much.
A respected team.
Yeah.
So talk about that decision.
Well, I mean, one of my favorite things about the X-Men comics and the cartoons as well, which I watched growing up, was when the X-Men, operated as a team, when they use all their superpowers in tandem and in concert with each other. It's not something that we've done a lot in these movies. We have almost never really seen them as a proper team, all of them working together. And so the fun of people with different powers using those powers together, somebody throwing someone, that person getting hit with a lightning bolt, one person at the beginning of the movie, Scott using his optic blast to slow something down so that somebody can teleport into it with somebody who can slow down time. All of that kind of working together was great fun to write. It was great fun to direct, and just as a fan, I got a real thrill out of it.
And this is not a slight in the least bit. It's smaller scale.
Yeah.
It felt more grounded, like just a New York street battle that I was like, I just want to see them do this. That was really rewarding.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, listen, that was the intention. The intention for me was that I like movies that are more grounded and real and gritty and raw.
Apocalypse really is almost modeled more after a disaster movie than anything else. Okay. And I think in hindsight, it felt like maybe the spectacle of that movie upstaged the characters. Sure. So Phoenix was, in some ways, an answer to that.
I felt as though that movie was more about spectacle and scale and effective as such. But I wanted to get back to the more character-driven, grounded storytelling of my favorite X-Men movies. Okay. And go even further, and because this movie, I think the story itself wants to be more raw, it wants to be more real. because what's happening to Jean is so emotional and intense. And so I wanted it to feel like a more personal, intimate film.
I tried to protect her.
I'm scared. When I lose control, bad things happen to people I love.
The girl dies. She's still Jean. We can still help her.
I think the fans will be curious at this point now whether, especially when you come to a story like Dark Phoenix, which has a very popular comic storyline, whether you go back to that for influence or whether you just lean on the previous 3 movies that you did. Which ones is a stronger influence?
I refer to the comic books primarily for the action beats.
Okay.
And it's really kind of just simply to find various poses. And, you know, where you can... It was kind of cool in this film because there's a lot of, you know, the grimacing behind the helmet in a cartoon. It's quite a cool image, and I thought, okay, it's an opportunity to take that image and put it into the film, or, you know, various, you know, poses that Magneto has. Sometimes he has this sort of lotus, you know, pose when he's sort of, you know, flying or hovering.
You have a great one with a helicopter.
Yeah, yeah.
Great. It's super intense.
Yeah, and it's just sort of, for me, I'll have those images to just sort of as inspirational physical beats.
I think a lot of it, for myself at least, is the source material.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I think that's even taking the iteration of the story that is the screenplay that's so good, and just, you know, really using that as your anchor. Because I think, you know, for us, like coming in and playing characters that had already been played previously by other actors, you know, you wanted to, you know, give it some iteration, something new. So I guess there's always that in the back of your mind as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You always have to do research, especially when it comes to this movie where there's so much of Jean's life being shown in it, from a very young girl to who she is now. And so it's very important that you look over the source material.
Did you feel free from the comparisons of, especially you two in particular, of characters that we've seen before? With this second film, do you now feel more ownership, maybe?
I definitely do. You know, I think in the first one, I had never done a movie of this magnitude, let alone a character that was so popular and so beloved, especially by the fans. So for me, I was really worried for a long time. I was like, I gotta do it like Hallie. I gotta do it like Hallie. And then I realized that I didn't, and that I could make it me. And so it's like 50% source material, whether it's the comics or the movies, and then 50% of just like actual craft, where I get to make it my own and be like, all right, I stand behind my choices, and this is my Storm, and this is who she is, and like it?
It's too late.
She's coming.
I have no clue what we can talk about your character. I guess we could
Let's
say...
just talk about Sophie's character.
But your
can talk about your character.
throws
Really?
these magnificent dinner parties in
And
her
then she has
beautiful
to leave
house
them.
with a barking dog.
No more dinner parties after that.
Did you give her a backstory? Did you know who she was or figure out at all who this person was?
Nah. I mean, I was sitting at the table when we were shooting that scene. I was meeting everybody, and then, you know, the directors, because I'm married to an Italian gentleman. Very nice man. And he cast the guy who plays my husband in that scene as an Italian. He's an Italian actor, so it was just funny. It was like, I mean, I look like Jessica. Maybe it's Jessica Chastain, the actress.
That's
Maybe, you know what?
awesome.
I think you do throw bomb dinner parties too.
Have you been to a dinner?
No, but I'm just assuming.
This is how you get invited.
Yeah.
I did go to
You compliment.
I have
meeting and
Christmas
you-
parties that are
Yeah,
out of this
never
world.
been able to go to one of them.
Yeah. Next one.
Next one.
Next one. All right.
Next one,
I will
maybe
look out
she'll
for my
invite me.
invitation as well, too.